For centuries, archaeologists and anthropologists have searched for information about the origins of the mysterious lines drawn in the desert sands of southern Peru. There are approximately 300 different figures, called geoglyphs, and 70 designs showing different species of animals and plants. Scientists believe that these geoglyphs were created by the Nazca people, an ancient civilization living near the modern town of Nazca. The Nazca people lived from about 200 BCE and survived for almost 8 centuries, living along river valleys and cultivating crops such as cotton and important foods for their diet like beans and corn. Indeed, some scientists think that some of the geoglyphs date back even earlier and were made by the ancestors of the Nazca people, the Paracas people, who date back to approximately 800 BCE. In addition to the Nazca lines, archaeologists discovered an impressive village site called Kawachi, with an adobe pyramid, large temples, plazas and staircases and corridors. They also found smaller items like pottery, textiles, and some traces of gold. In the same area, scientists excavated the bones of adults and children, and even entire skeletons. In some cases, the skulls were shaped differently and made longer. Scientists believe this was done by binding an infant's skull between 2 pieces of wood. It is thought that this practice showed who belonged to the upper classes in Nazca society. Since 1994, the area has been designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This means it is protected, and future generations will continue to learn about the civilization and, importantly, enjoy the mysteries of the Nazca.
In 1991, hikers in the mountains of Italy, Europe, found the frozen body of EuRoy, or Iceman, half buried in ice. Back in EuRoy's time, 5,000 years ago, this area was covered in ice. The cold and ice preserved EuRoy's body. This was helpful because scientists could study his body and learn more about him. They learnt that EuRoy was male, walked long distances, and carried tools, although they weren't as advanced as the tools we use today. He had more than 60 simple tattoos on his body. Scientists think the tattoos were for his health, not for decoration. EuRoy may have died long ago, but he has descendants who are alive today. Recently, scientists discovered at least 19 living people connected with EuRoy, and they expect to find many others.
Mancala is a board game that people from many cultures have played since ancient times. It's a game of moving seeds from hole to hole. People have said that Mancala is the world's oldest board game. Historians believe people began playing Mancala in Egypt. Egypt is the place of origin for many other ancient games as well. Also, archaeologists found Mancala boards carved into the roofs of Egyptian temples. This proves that Egyptians played Mancala before the year 1400 BCE. In fact, players have enjoyed Mancala in nearly every African country for centuries. When people went from place to place long ago, they took Mancala along with them. Today, Mancala is played around the world.
growing up, then and now. How children's lives have changed over the years. What's a day in your life like today? You probably go to school and do your homework. At home, you may do a few simple chores, like doing the washing up or making your bed. You might complain about not having enough free time to relax. In the past, children your age probably had a little more to complain about. Throughout much of history, many didn't go to school because they had to help all day at home or on the farm. Their parents taught them what they knew, but very few adults could read or write. The Aztec people, who lived from 1200 to 1473 in present-day Mexico, were unique. The Aztecs believed that education, or learning, was important. Every child went to school, although boys and girls learnt different things. In addition to going to school, Aztec children were expected to help with chores at home. Girls learnt to weave at the age of about 4, and they learnt to cook at the age of about 12. Boys, on the other hand, learnt occupational skills. By the 19th century, many people began moving into cities to find jobs. In cities, there was no longer a need to have children work on the farm, so they began working in factories instead. In England, many children worked long hours, 6 days a week, and they earned very little money in return. Children started working from a very young age, sometimes at only 5 or 6 years old. They gave all of their money to their parents to help pay for the family's needs. Today, most children go to school. Sometimes teenagers work part-time jobs to earn money, but many use that money for enjoyment, not to help their families. Think about it. Even if you work and go to school, you still have time to relax or spend time with your friends. Compared to children from the past, most children nowadays have it pretty easy.